Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and for the penultimate time this season, welcome back to the match preview series. We're going to be previewing Celtic's game against St Johnstone tomorrow night at Celtic Park in a game that holds a certain emotional value to it. We're talking about Scott Brown's last ever game at Parkhead. It's a day that I didn't imagine would be coming, to be honest. For a long time it just felt like it would never happen. Never thought Scott Brown would ever leave Celtic, but here we are, his last game at home for the club. We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about St Johnstone, the opponents. We're going to talk about my team news, predictions, theories, whatever you like as well towards the end of the video. Thank God that is us almost at the end. Before we get any further with the video, please make sure to hit like and subscribe on the video if you've not already subscribed to the channel. That is, just press the big red button below and you can subscribe to the channel for absolutely free, getting yourself some news, videos, content, whatever you like, transfer rumours, all in this one place, all for free, just by pressing that big red button. It is much appreciated, and like the video as it helps us grow and share out the content with more and more people. So then, Scott Brown's last ever game at Celtic Park. We spoke about this briefly on the podcast the other day, and we spoke about it a bit in the back pages video yesterday, but that is pretty much the story of this game now. Of course, Celtic season has been over for a long time. We've not really had anything to play for. We're 23 points behind Rangers. We now play our first game since that massive 4-1 defeat to Rangers in the last league game that we played. We need to avenge that, but I think the story of this game is ultimately going to be that it's Brown's last game at Celtic Park. This is 14 years of service coming to an end, a captain like none other. Celtic really are going to miss Scott Brown, and you can talk as much as you like about how bad he's been this season, and the opponents might laugh at how he's went out at Celtic, but ultimately this is the captain who won an invincible treble, a double treble, a treble treble, and a quadruple treble. He's won 22 major honours at Celtic. He is matched by very little in the world of football, never mind just in Scotland. He is an incredible captain and someone who has served Celtic for such a long time at such a high standard. Someone who a couple of times was wrote off by the media, by opposition, and sometimes by our own fans, and then continued to bounce back and say, you know what, I'm not done. I'm here, and I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the captain of Celtic. And you know, but remember that Ronnie Dyler season where he was picking up the injuries and it looked like he was finished. Brendan Rodgers came in. People didn't think Brown could be still at the big part of Celtic that he once was, the kind of engine in the middle of the park. People didn't think that he could do that. And Brendan Rodgers brought a new life to his game, a new lease of life, which turned him into the invincible winning captain and then a player of the year only a year or two later in Scotland. He's had a magnificent career, and for as much as the opposition hate him, for as much as Rangers fans hate him, it's someone that I think that he's up there with those in Scottish football that you can sit down and go, do you know what, he's had a good shift, he's done a good job, he's had a pretty impressive career. Scott Brown ultimately won't care about critics, he won't care about what's been said. He's someone who has been there and won it all. He came and set out what he wanted to do, and he done it, and I think he exceeded what he wanted to do. So seeing him play his last game at Celtic Park is emotional. It's a shame, especially because I don't think any of us pictured it happening this way. I think that when you spoke about Scott Brown's last game, even a year ago, or just over a year ago before the pandemic hit, when you said Scott Brown's last game at Celtic, the first thought that would come to your mind is, you know, parade around the pitch, maybe even a trophy to lift. You'd picture thousands outside the stadium welcoming the bus, and you would just picture this sort of kind of party in a sense. I know that sounds like you're sending them off like you want rid of them, but you know what I mean, like just a big celebration of what everything Scott Brown has done for the club. I think we would all have imagined a very party-ish atmosphere, but instead, you know, there's going to be no one in the stadium. There's going to be a very little, it seems, reaction on the park. It's been lifeless all season. It's just not going to be the farewell that we imagine Scott Brown would get. He'll go to Aberdeen with everyone's best wishes, of course, but I think we all wish we could have been in the stadium tomorrow night, or for whenever Scott Brown's last game would have been, and we wish it was in a lot better circumstances. It isn't the season that I think he would have expected, or anybody would have wished for him to go out on. I think we would all love to see him win one last league title, or even a 10th straight league title, but it never worked out like that, and we just have to take what we're given. But what a career Scott Brown has had, and I'm extremely grateful for everything that he's gave to this club. And, you know, I've said this so many times, and I'll say it once more. My dad was lucky enough to grow up with the Lisbon Lions, so he kind of had a few. You could say maybe Jimmy Johnstone for him, the generation after that. You know, you have their Danny McGrain, and then you've got your Paul McStays and such. People have Henrik Larsson after that. You know, people have an era-defining player that kind of summarises their best memories as a Celtic fan, or a young Celtic fan. For me and for my generation, that's Scott Brown. Scott Brown has been at this football club since 2007. That's when I started getting into football. And as I can start remembering football, I should say. And he's been captain of the club since 2011, which is the last 10 years of my life, since I was 11 years old. So for me, Scott Brown is an era-defining player. He is up there with your Henrik Larssons, your Danny McGrain, your Paul McStays, your Jimmy Johnstones, your Billy McNeils. It's a guy that defines Celtic Football Club, and just behind King Billy, he's probably the greatest captain this club has ever seen. So yeah, it'll be emotional, and let's hope he goes out with a bit of a bang tomorrow at Celtic Park, and we get a performance that reminds us of the Scott Brown of old rather than new, and hopefully it'll come through in a win as well. But let's talk about the game a bit more. St Johnstone, not easy opponents, and at the minute they are riding high. What a season Callum Davidson has had with St Johnstone, and we've spoke about this so much on the podcast over in Talk Scottish Football this season, so I don't need to reiterate everything I've already said. But it's a team who's finished top half. They went to 2 cup finals, winning one of those and one yet to come. Callum Davidson has exceeded all expectations ahead of him this year. I mean, at the start of the year I predicted him to finish 10th. I just seen the job that Tommy Wright done there over the past 8 years or so being very tough for anyone to follow up on. But Callum Davidson has came in and arguably topped all of those 8 years and won. What a season he's had in the Scottish Cup and the Betfred Cup as well, and in the league. And it will be no easy opponent for Celtic tomorrow night. Yes, they've not beat us this season, but you look at the last couple of games we've played them in, we haven't been impressive. The last time we played them, a 2-1 win at McDermott Park, which we relied on some odds on Edouard Magic. The game before that, we dropped points. We drew 1-1 at Celtic Park. St Johnstone will be fancying their chances against a kind of down and out Celtic side. How do we play now with these last couple of games to go? There is nothing to play for. The morale, the motivation, everything that is there, the energy has just been zapped out of the team altogether. And we've seen that in all of our performances recently. John Kennedy's record now, an astounding 3 wins out of 8. I think it's something like that anyway. I just don't have much hope heading into games like this anymore now. I'm hoping that the fact that we have only got 2 games to go now, and St Johnstone have used their energy mostly in this Scottish Cup run, it might help us get through this game a little bit. And maybe we'll see St Johnstone tinkering around with the team. But you know, at the end of the day, don't think we have any right. I don't think the cockiness should be there in place to say that, oh, it's St Johnstone, we can beat St Johnstone, we should be beating St Johnstone. If St Johnstone's season has exceeded ours. They've been more successful than us. They're in 2 cup finals. We've not even been to Hampden in terms of the 2021 campaign. This is a team who quite rightfully be fancying their chances coming to Celtic Park. Saying that, I'm confident tomorrow that Kennedy might get something, just purely because we're at the end. And purely because he might want to end this sort of horrid tenure as manager with at least a win at Celtic Park nonetheless. We do have the quality to, of course, win the game. We are the better team in terms of player-by-player quality. You know, far ahead of St Johnstone. We're levels ahead of St Johnstone in those terms. But, you know, you can't underestimate them, I suppose. The thing for me is now we have a chance to make a few changes. Scott Bain has been ruled out with injury. Callum McGregor is suspended. You know, I think that we should be trying to make a few changes in this game down. I know we've been begging for Kennedy to do it up until this point, and he's still not done it, which means it's probably unlikely he will now. But now he has the chance to start players like Barkas and Sorrell with those being out the team. Even anybody else that's in that centre midfield area that he fancies. Knowing our luck, we'll get Turnbull, Brown and Rogic or Christie. We won't see Sorrell play. But, you know, it is a chance for Kennedy to be a bit experimental, a little bit different, and maybe shoehorn a few different players. We're now coming to the end. Of course, Duffy is gone. Laxalt will be leaving soon. El Yunusi will be leaving soon. Will he give the last couple of games to Laxalt and El Yunusi? I think all of us would say yes, hopefully, to El Yunusi, but Laxalt shouldn't be anywhere near the team now. I think Taylor should be playing those last couple of games. It's going to be difficult. It's a really tough game when you think about it. and St Johnstone won't make life easy. Ultimately, we just need a massive response from that 4-1 defeat to Rangers, and that's why I'm confident we can win the game tomorrow night. I know I'm banging on about how good St Johnstone have been and how difficult they'll make life for us, but at the end of the day, we need a response. The Celtic fans are not happy. We're also sitting here waiting and waiting and waiting for an Eddie Howe announcement. There's apparently a fan forum on Thursday with Dominic Mackay, his first chance to speak to supporters. So there has to be a positive energy heading into all of this. I think this game needs to give the fans something, and of course a win's not going to change our season. It's not going to add anything on that we've missed, but at least it will kind of set a little bit more of a positive tone heading into something like a fan forum and heading into the end of the season as we wait for this Howe announcement. To lose another game would just be disastrous, and it wouldn't shock me at all. But to end the season without these 6 points, and especially with the last 3 home points and Brown's last Celtic Park appearance, would just be sickening, to be honest. Back Barkas. That's how I'm ending the video. Back Barkas. Play him tomorrow, please. If it's Connor Hazard, I'll be absolutely raging. Get Barkas in the team. I know people hate me backing Barkas, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it until I can't do it no more. Get Barkas in the team tomorrow. As for the team prediction, I think we're going to see, Sorrow, I think what might come in, and I think Barkas might come in as well. I'm hopeful of Barkas coming in. Apart from that, I don't see too many changes from that side that started against Rangers. I think James Forrest will play as well. We've just got to get something better. We've got to give an injection of positivity to the supporters, and we could do that by winning the game. Let's end the season positively, getting a new manager announced, getting 6 points on the board. We can maybe have a little bit of something to look forward to heading into the summer transfer window. Like and subscribe. See you all next time.